Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. He is a member of the House Judiciary Committee. And Congressman, first, I'd like to get your reaction to Kellyanne Conway's remarks.
Well, I think she's speaking for a lot of Americans and the president that, that are absolutely frustrated. I think there are people like myself in Congress that are frustrated. I mean, this is a basic promise that most everybody that I know of campaigned on. We said we're going to repeal Obamacare. And here we sit after all this time, and we've kind of nibbled around the edges, and we've got some of this done and that done on Obamacare, but we haven't taken the big home run swing. And I think
do you feel, Congressman, that President Trump has been helpful to you guys on the health care front, and are there ways in which the president may have been a little more helpful?
Well, I think he's trying to be helpful and encouraging and cajoling. I think there's a kind of a carrot and stick approach here. Yeah, so I think he's trying. It's just difficult when we're finding out a lot of people really didn't mean it when they wanted to repeal Obamacare.
What do you mean by that? Maybe it's just too hard, they're finding.
Yeah, well, I think they campaigned on it, but when push comes to shove, now you have some people backing off saying, well, maybe we really don't want to repeal it after all. And that's what I mean when I say that. And I think that leads to frustration with American people, and I think the president's frustrated, and I think that's what Ms. Conway was indicating there.
And you mentioned Kellyanne again, and I want to get to some specifics about health care in a second, but Kellyanne Conway also went on to say that Congress is just too distracted by the Russia investigation. Do you agree or disagree?
Well, we should be able to do more than a couple of things at once. Yeah, the Russian stuff's a distraction, but that should not hinder in any way our ability to go forward and deliver on the agenda that we promised the American people. And we've been doing some things, Dodd-Frank repeal, VA reform, that type of thing. But this should not deter us from doing the Obamacare repeal.
And what would you say, Congressman Biggs, right now as it stands, what are the main challenges of repealing Obamacare and replacing it with Trump care?
I'd say the biggest challenge that we have is you have some people that are a little bit wobbly. They don't want to pull the trigger on an absolute repeal of Obamacare. And I think what Mitch McConnell has said he's going to do, and I hope it's what he's going to do, is put up a repeal bill with a delayed repeal so there's plenty of time to put in whatever reforms that are necessary to go forward. But we would all know that Obamacare would be repealed effective, whether it's 18 months, 2 years, whatever he's got in mind. But that's what I think should happen.
And do you think that your constituents, the people who you have been campaigning throughout the years, your party, saying, listen, we are going to get in there, the president said, great, I'm going to get in there pretty much on day one and repeal and replace Obamacare, would it suddenly become a bait and switch if you repeal it and don't automatically replace it?
No, I don't think so at all, and I think my constituents understand that, because if you do the type of bill that's out there now, you're not getting a full repeal anyway. You're doing an overlay over the underlying Obamacare, and you're keeping a lot of regulations, you're keeping some taxes, and you still have a problem, and you're not going to have the total effectiveness that you would have with a repeal and then still have time to reform it. I'm not saying we wouldn't reform, we wouldn't replace. And I think reform is a better word than replace, but that we'd be able to do this over time in a more thoughtful way, I think.
There are people saying, listen, there's been a lot of time that has passed, and for Democrats and Republicans alike to try to fix Obamacare or get rid of it, completely and replace it. But it's still not happening. And here you have, as you well know, your colleagues there in the Senate are hoping to find a way forward with their bill next week. Do you feel confident that even that's going to happen, to get something back into your court?
Well, I feel hopeful that if Majority Leader McConnell really does put the delayed repeal, the bill that was passed in 2015, if he really puts that up, I'm hopeful that would pass. I really am. But that's their house. I don't really know what's going there. I talk to some senators now and then, and they kind of let me know, but I do think it's got some roadblocks. It has some roadblocks.
Well, it would be unfair for me to ask you personally, specifically, to give me 1 or 2 items that would make Obamacare go away and pave the way for Trump care. Can you do that? quickly?
Well, I think the best thing you could do is do a straight repeal with a delayed effective date,
Okay.
and then
but no
then you would do some
specific
things that I'm
items
talking
is what I was
about.
looking for. Listen, Congressman, I know it's difficult,
Yeah.
and you know, I have to leave it
Yeah.
there, but I do appreciate your time.